ऑनलाइन स्टुडंट्स आवाज येतोय का जरा कन्फर्म करून सांगा मला. ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स ओके क्लियर ठीक शुड वी प्रोसीड ओके थैंक यू. So basically today is our first lecture, rather workshop, not lecture, of geography optional English medium batch. Basically from this week we are going to start our optional batch for UPSC Civil Services examination, geography optional in English medium. Already Marathi medium batch has been started and today we are starting with the English medium batch. Now the most important thing about today's lecture is what? In today's lecture we are going to take a review of geography optional syllabus. Then second thing, what is the nature of geography optional paper, question paper, and what should be the strategy for this particular subject. ठीक है? And then we will in general discuss about the nature of our batch, in what way we are going to proceed, that I will be discussing in the end. So without wasting any time we should proceed. In this subject of geography optional, we have two papers, paper 1, paper 2. Each paper will be of 250 marks. You may be aware about this. Paper 1 250 marks, paper 2 250 marks. So what is there in paper 1? In paper 1 we have two components. First one is the physical geography. Second one is the human geography. Now some people label this as human and economic or social economic geography, but the appropriate word is this one. All standard sources will mention it as human geography. In paper 2 there is only geography of India. Okay, so this is what is the rough structure of our syllabus. We are going to enter in the deep of both these components. Now if you check the syllabus, I have provided you hard copy. Those who are attending online, I will provide them soft copy. In this physical geography there will be 5 sections. In human geography 5 sections, and in Indian geography 10 sections. So total we have to study 20 sections of geography optional. Now what is the difference between this paper 1 and paper 2? Simple thing. Paper 1 is the conceptual part. Hardcore concepts of physical geography and that of human geography, and mirror image of those concepts or application of concepts for which region, for India, will be the paper 2. So this is important thing. Paper 1 completely conceptual. Whenever we are going to study paper 1 syllabus, it is going to consume lot of time. Means out of our complete course of geography we will require at least 60-70% time for paper 1. Once we are done with paper 1, paper 2 can be done very easily in just remaining 30-40% time period. Now when we say application of those concepts of paper 1 for India, it will also include current events. So that is another interesting part. In paper 2 we have to study geography of India in current relevance. In current relevance means what? There may be a cyclone, tropical cyclone, which is affecting some part of India. In recent time period, you might have seen floods affecting Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. So those are the current events related to geography. So those will be covered in paper 2. So while studying paper 2, we have to focus on current events also. But to understand those current events, we need to understand basic concepts first. First, we need to know what is flood, how flood occurs, what are the causative factors, in that what are the natural factors, what are the anthropogenic factors, and then we will apply it to particular region. For example, Himachal Pradesh. Why floods are occurring in Himachal Pradesh? The topographic conditions, the climatic conditions, these are natural conditions which will lead to flood condition, whereas human interference in Himalayan ranges will lead to anthropogenic phenomena. So in this way we have to correlate both the things. One more important thing, whenever we are going to study these 5 sections and these 5 sections, those sections will have some parallel component over here. For example, in human geography we have to study population geography. Same topic will be in paper 2. In human geography we study economic geography in paper 1, its application in paper 2. Settlement geography. So we have to go parallel. Once we finish the basic concept study over here, we will go to that part. Okay. Now what are those sections in both these papers that we will check? Have you copied this thing? Please. Okay. Please copy. Done? Okay, see. Details of this is provided in the sheet. What we need to understand, how topics are parallel in both the papers, that we need to understand. Whenever we are going to discuss about paper 1, as I have mentioned, paper 1 will have two components, physical geography and human geography, 5 topics in each. The whole paper 1 is basically highly conceptual part. It is full of concepts. In this paper 1, in physical geography, whatever concepts are there, all those concepts are science based, means they are based on physics. Whereas these human geography concepts are purely social science based concepts. So over here we will come across technical part. For example, when we study climatology, we need to understand the relationship between pressure and temperature. So that becomes purely scientific section. Okay. Now, in physical geography, this first one is the geomorphology. Geomorphology is that topic which deals with study of Earth's lithosphere, the outermost layer of Earth. What are the things which are occurring inside the Earth? Volcanic eruption, earthquake, and lot many other things. So that part will be covered in geomorphology. Second component is climatology. It will include basic phenomena of climate, means what is there in atmosphere, atmospheric composition. It also contains what are the layers of atmosphere, means structure of atmosphere, air temperature, air pressure. After that, winds which are generated due to air pressure difference, monsoon winds, jet streams, air masses, precipitation which includes rainfall, snowfall, hailstorm and cyclones. And last one is climatic classification. So all those climate related phenomena are covered over here. Now try to understand. Parallel to these two topics, this topic is there, physical setting. In this, what we will study? Over here in geomorphology, we study landforms, means mountains, plateaus, plains, how they are generated. So application of that to India, India's physiographic divisions, Himalaya, North Indian plain, peninsular plateau, how they are formed, what are their subdivisions, that part. Application of this is what? Over here we study climate of India, which are the seasons, what is the Indian monsoon, what is the incoming monsoon, what is retreating or outgoing monsoon. That part will be the application of these two. Okay. So whenever we are going to cover these two topics, immediately we will switch to this and we will cover this part. So that becomes easy for you people to understand this particular component. Then oceanography. Oceanography is going to be the study of what? Hydrosphere or the oceans. What is at the ocean bottom? What type of landforms are present at the bottom of ocean? Ocean water temperature, ocean water salinity. You may be aware that ocean water tastes salty. So what is the, why that taste is salty? After that, there are various movements of ocean water like waves, tides, ocean currents, all those things we have to study over here. Oceans are going to provide us valuable resources. They provide us food, they provide us water, they provide us minerals, they provide us energy. So we need to study all those things over here in oceanography. Now there will not be any application related part of oceanography for India. So we will not find that component. Then comes the biogeography. Bios means life. Study of living beings, study of life is the biogeography. In this biogeography, we need to study various living beings, plants, animals, what are the factors affecting plants and animals. All those things we have to study in biogeography. Again, for biogeography, there won't be any application in paper 2. Then comes the most important section, environmental geography. So as the name suggests, you will get the idea that this particular component is related to study of environment. And as I mentioned, this is very crucial, this is very important part. Why? Because at present we are experiencing tremendous degradation of environment. This tremendous degradation of environment is due to human interference. So how it is causing problem, what could be the solutions, all these things we have to study over here. Clear? Again, same story. For this environmental geography also, there won't be any application in paper 2. Clear? In short, what? For this, we just need to study the basic concepts of paper 1. No application in paper 2. Great. Then we switch to the next. We move to the section B. That section B deals with what? It deals with human geography. Before we move to human geography, one important point about this physical geography. When we study this physical geography, please keep one thing in mind. I will be repeating this thing again in our first lecture. First lecture means when we will start the proper syllabus. That time I will repeat. Our Earth, our planet have 4 spheres. It has 4 different layers. Layer of rock, that is known as lithosphere. Layer of air around the earth, that is known as atmosphere. Layer of water, that is known as hydrosphere. Okay? And between these 3 layers, lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, there is layer of living beings, biosphere. So try to understand. Geomorphology will study lithosphere. Climatology will study atmosphere. Oceanography will study hydrosphere. Biogeography will study biosphere. And all these 4 spheres, lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, in these 3 are non-living, nirjiv, and biosphere is the living. These 3 non-living and this living all collectively will be termed as environment. That will be studied in environmental geography. So physical geography is basically all-round study of what? Earth. Got it? It is all-round study of Earth, and this all-round study of Earth is very crucial, which is done in physical geography, and that's why physical geography is known as what? Heart of geography subject or core of geography subject. Clear? And that's why for understanding also it is bit technical and bit difficult. Then we switch to human geography. As I have mentioned, in human geography, concepts are purely social science based. They are based on social science knowledge. So you won't find much technical things in human geography. In this first section is perspectives in human geography. Now what is this perspectives in human geography? See, geography is a semi-scientific subject. This part of geography is dealing with pure science. This part of geography is dealing with social science. In political science, in sociology, we have thinkers, political thinkers. For example, Karl Marx, he has put forward some political theory. Same way, in the social part of geography, there are thinkers, there are geographers who have put forward different ideologies, different views. So those ideologies, views related to geography will be covered in perspectives in human geography. Clear? Now this is purely part of thinkers and their ideologies. So this part will not have any application in paper 2. Clear? Now the most important part of section B of paper 1 is the economic geography. Now what is this economic geography? This is very crucial, this is very important, because out of our total syllabus means paper 1, paper 2, out of this total syllabus, economic geography will constitute 25% syllabus. How much? 25%. How? Try to understand. Economic geography, paper 1 basic concept, then it is applied in paper 2. Which topics are parallel in paper 2? This one, resources, agriculture, industry and transport communication. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and this 5. Out of 20 topics, 5 topics are related to economic geography. It simply means economic geography is going to constitute 25% of the whole syllabus. But important thing, what we are going to study in economic geography? In economic geography, we need to study only 2 things. First thing, we are going to study the natural resources. Second thing, we are going to study the human economic activities. So economic geography will deal with what? 2 things. First, resources, and second thing, human economic activities. Now try to understand. I will simplify. Around us on this planet there are various types of resources. What are those resources? These resources includes what? It includes soil, water resources, forest resources, animal resources, which can be also termed as biotic resources, mineral resources and energy resources. And the 7th, the most important, human resource. Economic geography will do study of these 6 resources: soil, water, forest, animal, mineral, energy. So that is the study of resources. Okay. Same way, economic geography is going to study human economic activities. What are human economic activities? Human economic activities are those activities which we are doing for our bread and butter, for our survival purpose. For example, I am teaching in this class. Why? It is my earning source. A farmer is working in the fields, that is his earning source. A laborer is working in industry, that is his earning source. So all activities done by human being for survival, for bread and butter, are known as human economic activities. Those activities are divided in 3. Primary economic activity, it includes agriculture, animal husbandry, then lumbering, mining, etc. Okay. Then secondary economic activity, that is industrial activity, commodity manufacturing. Then third comes the service sector. Okay. So these 3 important economic activities we have to study. Over here we will study the basic concepts related to these 2 things. Now come to paper 2. Over here, see, resources. We will study resources in India. Human economic activities, agriculture, primary economic activity, industry, secondary economic activity, transport, communication, trade. This is service sector activity. Clear? So resources and these 3 are related to human economic activities. Okay. So economic geography is very important component and it is very simple. So 25% syllabus which is constituted by this economic geography is going to be very simple. You need to develop your hold on particularly on that topic. Okay. Then we move ahead. In this 3rd section, now they have clubbed 2 different topics. So just try to check those 2 different topics. The first one is population geography. We have to study human population. Just now I mentioned in economic geography about the resources. I mentioned about 7 resources: soil, water, forest, animal, mineral, energy. These 6 resources will be studied in economic geography. The 7th resource, which is the most important resource, that is human resource, that will be studied in population geography. Clear? So in population geography we are going to study human resource. Now this part will be applied for India also. See over here, cultural setting is the application of population geography for India. Okay, I will dictate it separately which topic of paper 1 is related to which topic of paper 2, so don't worry. Then the next one is the settlement geography, human settlements, a very short and sweet topic, but they have mentioned various theories in this topic, so we need to study it carefully. Settlement means what? Human settlement, where human beings settle permanently. Pune is urban settlement. A small village is a rural settlement. So urban settlements, rural settlements. This topic is applied for India also. You can see over here. This is the application of this topic for India. Clear? So this is how we have to study application of this topic to this topic in India. Now this topic regarding India is very crucial from current perspective. Why? Because Indian economy is developing economy. This developing economy is fast growing. So whenever a particular economy is growing, you will find that number of urban centers or number of urban settlements increases and existing urban settlements are going to grow in size. That may lead to problems of urbanization, and then government will have to focus on those problems of urbanization. Okay, so this is the application over there. Now one more component where we can apply regional geography. You will see its application over here, regional development and planning. Clear? So what is this regional geography? It is a separate branch of geography in which we study about the concept of region. Clear? Many times we use the word hilly region, desert region, forest region. So these are different regions, or Marathi speaking region, etc. In this way we study different regions. Study of earth's surface in the form of small regions is a separate method of geography study that will be discussed over here, and we will apply it for India over here. Then comes the last topic of paper 1, that is models, theories in geography. So what is this? Now topics which we have studied over here: economic geography, population geography, settlement geography and regional planning. Related to these 4 topics, there are few theories, there are few models which are clubbed over here. For example, Malthus population theory, Karl Marx population theory. So all these theories will be covered over here. Means in short, these 4 sections are theoretically covered in the last part, and definitely it will not have any application for India. Clear? Now in paper 2 you can see we have covered almost first 8 topics as application of paper 1. Now what about these 2? These 2 topics are purely from current perspective, political aspect and contemporary issue. These are the current geography related problems in India. Whatever problems we are going to study related to geography in India, those will be covered under section 9 and section 10. Clear? So this is what is the syllabus. Now the last thing about this syllabus, for paper 2 we have one topic, that is map points. So we have to study map points. What are map points? UPC will provide us printed map, outline of India's map. On that map we have to present locations which they have mentioned. For example, if they have mentioned Rohtang Pass, so we will have to locate Rohtang Pass. It is in Himachal Pradesh. So what is the location? Along with that, we will have to write some information in 3 to 5 sentences about that Rohtang Pass. It can be city, it can be waterfall, it can be river, it can be any location from India. It can be mountain pass, mountain peak, mountain range, hill, plateau, plain. There are multiple types of map points which we have to practice and present on the map. This is going to be a section where we can score maximum. Clear? So in paper 2 we have a map question. Clear? So this is the structure. Now I will just mention this application of paper 1, paper 2 points. You can copy that thing. Done. So we'll just revise the things. This is how we are going to follow. Clear? First, we will start our journey from geomorphology, related part from paper 2. We will cover climatology, related part from paper 2, physical setting. So with this we will finish 3 sections. Then we will cover oceanography. Both these sections are covered together, biogeography and environmental geography. So these 5 sections will be finished. This will be conducted in end because this is one of the most boring section of geography. So we will keep it last. Okay. Then we switch to economic geography. Paper 1 economic geography will be covered. When we are going to study resources from the world, we will study resources from the world. Immediately we will study resources from India. We study agriculture for the world, then we cover for India. We study industry for the world, we cover for India. We study transport, communication, trade for the world, we cover it for India. So this is how we will cover these 5 sections in one phase. Okay. Then population geography from paper 1, immediately population geography of India. We finish settlement geography for the world, we finish it for India. Then we switch to this regional planning basic concepts and regional development planning in India. And in end we will cover these current related topics, political aspects, contemporary issues. Okay, we will cover this and then we move to perspectives in human geography. Whenever you are going to study geography optional, please follow same method. You can change the sequence. You can directly start from this but finish these 5 topics together. If you start from this, please finish geomorphology, related part from physical setting, climatology, related part from physical setting, because that becomes easy for understanding. You can understand Indian climate, Indian monsoon only when you cover the basic concepts of climatology. In addition to that, best method, ideal method to study geography is what? First finish, always first start and finish physical geography part, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 sections. This is the core of geography which I mentioned just now, physical geography and related part of India. So ideally you should cover these things first. In our batch we are going to follow same strategy. Another reason why to follow this strategy, because this 5 section, this is the most difficult part of geography. This section will consume lot of time for teaching and from your side also for study. This section is going to consume lot of time. Due to this, we have to cover this part first so that you can get sufficient time to develop hold over that part. Clear? Remaining things, this is very simple part. Now if you just needs to get idea, this particular section, paper 1, paper 2, both these topics, both these sections can be taught simple, in easy way, with proper understanding. We will able to cover both these sections in 5 clock hours. Clear? In just 5 clock hours. But there is one topic in geomorphology, theories of mountain development. That single topic, out of 20 topics, that single topic will require at least 6 clock hours. So from this you can judge how thoroughly and how deeply we have to do all these 5 topics, and what about the remaining things. That is quite simple, easy. Clear? Understood? Now in this you will get the syllabus in depth. Geomorphology, various points are there. Right now there is no sense in discussion of these things because you don't know anything about all these sections. Just now I told you that geomorphology will deal with study of Earth, Earth's interior, etc. Whenever we are going to start a particular topic, for example, whenever we are going to start geomorphology, in the first lecture I will give you complete overview of that section, what actually we have to study in that section. and in that also there are multiple topics. So what should be the proper sequence of all those topics? In what sequence all these topics needs to be covered? There is a proper sequence which you have to understand and follow. Which you have to understand means what? Why those topic needs to be studied in this particular sequence. First you need to understand this thing, then you will study them in that proper sequence, then only you will understand those topics in a more better way. Clear? So geomorphology, then comes the climatology, very interesting part, a very short, sweet, simple. Oceanography, then comes the biogeography and environmental geography. Once we finish these 5 points, our geography is almost over. Workload is almost reduced. So if you are planning for next year UPSC exams, then try to focus on this particular section and try to cover this part as fast as possible. Okay? Human geography, perspectives in human geography, then economic geography, population and settlement geography, regional planning, models, theories and laws in human geography. So all these are the topics of paper 1. Paper 2 is Geography of India, in that physical setting, resources, agriculture, industry, transport, communication and trade. In section B, cultural setting, that is population geography of India, settlements, regional development and planning, political aspects and contemporary issues. So this is the syllabus of geography. Now the next thing which we are going to discuss is what is the structure of question paper. That is quite important. Both paper 1 and paper 2 will have same structure. Each will be for how many marks? 250 marks each. Each paper will have 2 sections. Section A, question 1, in that short notes A, B, C, D, E, each for 10 mark. Question 2, it will have A, B, C. A will be for 20 marks, B for 15 marks, C for 15 mark. Same way, question 3, question 4, it will have same way, ABC, ABC. Now paper 2, sorry, section B, please copy. Question number 5, short notes, same way, A, B, C, D, E, each for 10 mark. Question 6, A, B, C, 20 mark, 15 mark, 15 mark. Question 7, same way, A, B, C. Question 8, A, B, C. Okay, now try to understand, very crucial thing. Does we need to attempt all 8 sections? No, we have to attempt only 5 questions. In that, question number 1 and question number 5 is compulsory. You have to attempt. Now try to understand one interesting thing. In paper 1 we have 10 topics, paper 2 10 topics. So section A will be based on 5 topics of physical geography. Section B will be based on remaining 5 topics. Automatic those get divided. Dusri gammat. Second point. Short notes. How many short notes are there? 5 short notes. 1 short note from each topic. Usually they follow this pattern. 5 short notes from remaining 5 topics. Means for example, if it is paper 1, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography, environmental geography. 1 short note from each section. Then perspectives in human geography, economic geography, population settlement, regional planning, models, theories. Means you cannot skip any topic. It will be a risk. You have to cover all 10 topics. You have to cover the syllabus thoroughly. Okay. So these 50 marks compulsory. These 50 marks compulsory. So 100 mark paper is over. Now we are going to attempt for remaining 150. See, each question number 2 is for 50 marks, question number 3 50 marks, question number 4 50 marks. Same way, question number 6, question number 7, question number 8. Every question is for 50 marks. 20 mark, 15, 15, 20, 15, 15, 20, 15, 15. Now what you have to do, out of these 3 and these 3, out of these 6 questions, you will select any 3. But at least 1 from each section. Means if you go for question number 2 and you go for question number 6 and question number 7, okay. But if you select 6, 7, 8, not okay. They will check only 2. Okay, 2 from this, then 1 from this. If you select 2 questions from this, out of these 3, any 2 question, then out of these 3, any 1 question. Means 1 question is compulsory from each section. Are you getting this point? Many students are not aware about this, and what they do, they attempt all these 3 questions. But from UPSC point of view, they have attempted only 2. Because they will check question 2, question 3, but they will not check question 4. Because that next question was supposed to be attempted from this. Understood? Now regarding the word limit. How many 10 mark questions we have? These 5 short notes, those 5 short notes. We have 10 questions. Okay. Then 15 mark questions. How many questions we have to attempt? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have to attempt 6 questions. 15 markaचे 6 questions. Then what about 20 mark question? A. 3 questions. We have to attempt 3 questions. So in all, total we have to attempt how many questions? 19 questions. So just imagine, in 3 hours you have to write answer for 19 questions. This is not joke. You have to work hard that much for those questions. Now regarding the word limit, try to understand. For 10 mark short note, expected word limit is 100 to 125 words. That is equivalent to 10 to 12 sentences. For 15 marks, you have to write 150 to 175 words. For 20 marks, you are expected to write 200 to 25 words. This is usually expected requirement. 20 words means 200 words means 20 sentences. This is rough calculation. Okay, now try to understand one important thing. Are you going to count the word while writing answer or after completing the answer? No, you cannot. So what you have to do, you just need to do one thing. Suppose this is your answer sheet, which is going to be a blank paper, unruled, means there won't be lines. There will be a proper margin from all four sides. Whatever space is left, I will provide you a model answer. You just make Xerox of that and start writing answer on that. So this is going to be the space where you have to write. So what you have to do, just do one experiment. Write anything, or if you want to write some essay, write some essay or some information in that much space with your normal speed and with your normal handwriting. Once you completely write that space, just count the words. Those who have a small size of handwriting, they may write around 125 words. For those who have large size handwriting, they may write just 75 words. So that becomes a standard norm for your handwriting. Here my handwriting is of moderate size, I am able to write 100 words. So whenever I am going to write that much answer, it is clear that how much I have written, approximately 100 words. If I am writing answer for 20 marks, then what I will have to do? Minimum back to back. Then it will be somewhere around 200 words. This is how we need to count. Is this clear? And one more thing. The word limit which you are devoting on charts, diagrams, map, that will not be counted. And basically UPSC is not at all interested in counting your words. The examiner is going to get a proper judgment whether you have followed this limit or not. If it is going to exceed a lot, then you may face penalty marks. If you are going to write very short answer, you no need to give penalty, you are going to get less marks. These things you have to keep in mind. Clear? The last thing, diagrams, charts and maps. These are the best tools for our geography optional with which we are able to score very good marks. So you have to develop your hold on those components. Which components? Drawing good diagrams, drawing good charts, drawing good maps. Whenever we are going to cover different topics in our lecture, I will provide you diagrams, I will draw few charts. Those you need to practice. Clear? So this will be the condition. Okay? So any question from your side? No question? So we are going to start from tomorrow, and our batch will run for roughly 5 to 6 months. We will try to finish it in 5 months, but we have to devote sufficient time to each topic, each section. Our batch will work 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. Alternate Sunday we will have test once we finish topic. For example, if we finish geomorphology, I will give you some time as per your requirement, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, and after that you will go for a test, written test of geomorphology. Okay? In between that, whenever we are going to discuss any topic from any section, after completing that topic, I am going to give you some practice questions. So those practice questions, for example, if we study earthquake, so I will give you some practice questions on earthquake. Along with that, additional questions from past 10 years question papers. So you study earthquake, you develop a hold over that topic of earthquake, and then you can write answers of those questions on the topic of earthquake. that will be effort from your side. I will just provide questions. You have to write those answers. It is not compulsory. What is compulsory? Compulsory is the test which we will conduct after completion of that particular topic. Clear? एक मुद्दा. Second point, you will get notes of each topic, hard copies as well as soft copies. Of course, all those notes will be in English and those will be meant for specifically UPSC civil services. We are going to conduct lectures, all these lectures online come offline mode. Some students who are out of Pune, they are going to join through online mode. Those who are attending offline, if they are sick, if they are out of station, they can attend lecture online. For both the students, online students as well as offline students, we are going to upload all these lectures. Means whatever I have taught today, that will be uploaded on the app. We have app of our academy. Once you fulfill the admission process, you will be enrolled on the app, and through that app you can, what you can do, you can again watch that lecture 3 times. So, and that will be allowed for complete 1 year, so that after completion of a particular topic, if you find that you needs to revise that topic, you can just check that lecture in the app and you can revise that lecture. Clear? So this is how we are going to follow. Okay, you will get the repetition of that topic, of that video, and it is allowed not 3 times, but I am allowing it for 6 clock hours. Means if we conduct a lecture of 2 hours, then you can watch that complete lecture 3 times. If we conduct a lecture for 1.5 hours, you can watch that lecture 4 times. Clear? If we conduct lecture of 1 hour, so in 6 hours you can watch it 6 times. Views, if I provide views, then what happens? You start the lecture, there is some net connectivity problem and you are getting disconnected. Your one view is lost. So that becomes a problem. Many times, even after giving 3 views, you are not able to complete the lecture even once. So instead of that, I will give you a duration of 6 clock hours. So maximum our lecture will go for 2 clock hours. After 2 clock hours, I will give you a break if we are going to extend. So even if we take a lecture for maximum duration, on that app you can watch that lecture 3 times. And in that also, in that 2 hours lecture, if initial half an hour was quite easy for you, you don't want its repetition, you can move ahead and you can watch remaining 1.5 hour video 4 times. So this is how it is very much flexible. Clear? So this is going to be the structure of our batch. Batch will be conducted completely in English medium. No vernacular medium, no mixture of Hindi English or Marathi English. If in any case from your side it is requirement, sir, we are not able to understand this English statement, we are not able to understand meaning of this concept in English, then I can explain you in Marathi if you require. But from my side, I will not utter a word in Marathi. Completely English. Okay? That's it. So if you have any question, you can ask. Now the last thing about this whole discussion is the study material. Of course, the first and the most important is going to be NCERT 6th to 12th textbooks of geography. Clear? Second thing will be for paper 1. It includes physical geography. Author is Sabinder Singh. Now this will deal with the first 5 topics of our paper 1: geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography and environmental geography. Clear? But few topics from syllabus are not mentioned in this book. For those topics I will provide you PDF. Because condition काय लक्षात घ्या. For each section we have separate textbook. Geomorphology by Savinder Singh, Climatology by DS Lal, Oceanography by K. Siddharth, Biogeography by Savinder Singh, Environmental Geography by Savinder Singh. So there are 5 books and that will constitute this much. You won't need to study that much. You just need to cover one book, Physical Geography by Savinder Singh, in which all the required topics are mentioned. Clear? Whatever is not there, I will provide you the soft copy. From that you can cover those topics. Okay? Then for paper 1 section B, we need to cover Human and Economic Geography by S.D. Maurya. Now many students refer which book? They refer Human Geography by Majid Hussain. But problem of that book is what? He has not covered much of economic geography in that book. So better we refer Human and Economic Geography by S.D. Maurya. One more for paper 1. Models in Geography, that is by Majid Hussain. Clear? So these 3 books you will have to purchase for paper 1. For paper 2, these 2 are there. First one is Geography of India by Majid Hussain. Now this particular book is quite important because Majid Hussain sir has written that book as per our complete syllabus of paper 2. So each and every topic of paper 2 syllabus will be covered in Majid Hussain sir's textbook. Okay? Whereas Khullar's book is the hardcore textbook of Indian geography, which will cover around 60-70% syllabus, but not the whole syllabus of our paper 2. Okay, but depth wise Khullar's book is quite important. From exam point of view, this book is important. And then comes the last thing, that is for study of maps. For study of maps, you have to purchase any atlas. You may be having atlas, and one more is there, that is regarding map point. Map entries by Majid Hussain. Okay, so these are the things which you have to purchase. If you have financial problem, then on priority just purchase these 2 things. NCERT and Physical Geography by Savinder Singh, Atlas and map entries. Rest of the things you can purchase step by step. No need to purchase paper 2 and this paper 1 section B books immediately. Clear? There is one more book, Geography Through Maps by K. Siddharth, but that is more useful for GS geography. For our optional, this will be quite important. Is this clear? So our batch will start regularly from tomorrow and our timing will be 3:30. Monday to Friday 3:30 to 5:30. As per requirement, on Sunday I will conduct extra lectures. Whenever it is necessary, in Sunday morning session I will conduct extra lectures depending on convenience of all of us. Okay. Alternate Sunday we will have test. Once we finish topics, for example, we are going to start with geomorphology. It is a huge section, so we will divide that section. Once that first half of that section is covered, I will tell you, now you prepare and appear the test. For small sections, we will finish the section and then we will prepare for the test. Okay, but regular tests are very necessary. We are in the mid of August. Initial few lectures we will devote for the basic concepts of geography, and then September, October, November, December and till January end our syllabus will be finished. I will try my best to finish it till the December end or at least up to mid-January. But to finish in that time, we should not run the syllabus. We will cover it thoroughly, slowly, gradually, so that you can understand those things. The most important thing is what? Your concepts should be clear. Conceptual clarity is the basic requirement. First thing, conceptual clarity. Second thing, maximum possible depth. Both these things we are going to focus in the lectures. Okay? Clear? That's it for today.